People love to be in on a secret. I want to talk to you about having children. The story begins the moment the problem is introduced. Hi everybody, this is Cohen Tan and welcome back to another reaction video, this time to the recent Singapore's National Day rally speech by our Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. But before we go into this particular speech, let me share with you a disclaimer. This video is non-political. I do not support any political agenda here, and neither am I here to offer political commentary. This video is purely an unpacking of Lawrence Wong's presentation skills so that we all, as professionals, as business owners, as founders, can learn and adopt this in our own speaking. So let's proceed. So in every speech, there is something called the chorus. Think of this like a song. Every song has the chorus. The chorus is the most memorable highlight of every song. It's the one that people remember the most, and usually people sing along together. And the chorus of this particular speech is obviously talking about Singapore's population challenges. And Lawrence Wong uses a very specific storytelling technique. He is not necessarily always telling stories, but underneath the meta structure of his speech is actually a very clever story technique. I call this the story setup sequence, and I'm going to unpack it for you in this video. So I'm going to start right here unpacking the chorus. Let's see how it starts.
When we think about what matters most to Singaporeans, family is at the heart of it.
So you see how it starts. He says, when we think about what matters most to Singaporeans, this captures people's attention. People go, yeah, okay, this is important to me. Now what really matters most to Singaporean? And he started family. Why does he start talking about family? Because this is what I call starting broad to enroll the audience, to gain acceptance. When he talks about family, everybody can relate. Everybody is part of a family. Imagine if he starts by saying, I want to talk to you about having children. Straight away, people's defenses are going to be up. He's like, oh, there you go. He's going to start selling koyok already. So, he starts broad to get acceptance. This is something that we all want to do if we want to be persuasive and influential.
Families are where our children are nurtured, values are shaped, and lifelong bonds are formed. They are also where we care for one another across generations. No other institution can replace the family. And that's why nothing matters more than helping families thrive.
Here, he continued to talk about the importance of family just to embellish his point.
Because Singapore's future will only be as strong as the families that build it. But today, families everywhere are under growing pressure. Young couples hesitate to start a family. They worry about the responsibilities and costs. Parents face a different set of worries. Every day is a balancing act between work and family, between earning a living and caring for loved ones.
This is where he introduces the problem. In storytelling, it's very important to know this. When there's a problem, there's a story. In fact, the story begins the moment the problem is introduced. He introduced the problem very early on.
Beyond these practical challenges, many also worry about the future their children will inherit and whether they are doing enough to help them succeed. These concerns are real. I've heard them from many parents. My colleagues have heard them too. That's why Indrani has been leading an interagency work group to review how we can support families better.
This is where he very cleverly introduces the hero. In every story, there must be a hero. And here is a very, very clever technique. You see, Lawrence Wong is the Prime Minister of Singapore. He is the person delivering the speech. Obviously, everybody looks up to him as the leader. But here, when he introduced Minister Indrani as the hero, he is able to take himself out of that hero position. Because if he positions himself as the hero, he's being very self-serving. But now, when he introduces the hero of this story, the protagonist of this story, he elevates himself as the storyteller. Very clever technique there.
The work is still ongoing. We are aiming for more than incremental improvements or changes to individual schemes. We want to make a fundamental shift in how we support families. Today, much of our support is concentrated around the birth of a child. Instead, we want to support parents more consistently throughout the journey of raising their children.
Very clever. Here is where he hints at a journey. Every story is a journey. You don't just take the audience straight into the journey. You hint at the journey. So you are helping the audience to warm up emotionally, cognitively. Okay, there's a journey. Now, most parents in Singapore feel the stress. They feel the anxiety. They want to know, how are you going to make this journey better for me?
The work group has come up with some good proposals. So tonight, let me give you a sneak preview.
This is when he signals, buckle up. Here's the journey. We are going to begin. And he uses a very clever technique by saying, tonight I'm going to give you a sneak preview. And he paused. And you can hear murmurs in the audience. People are getting excited. This is how you actually get people at the edge of their seats. And here's another technique. People love to be in on a secret. So when you say, I'm giving you a sneak preview, people feel like they're about to hear something exciting. This is how you actually create tension, keep attention and excitement for the rest of your story. So let us quickly recap. If you want to tell a story or to set up a story structure in your presentation, follow the sequence. Set the context. Start broadly to gain acceptance. State the problem very early upfront. Introduce the hero to get people rooting for the hero. And then tease the journey before you say, let's begin. So there you go. This is the first video of the series. In the next video, I'm going to share with you how he uses what I call the good news sequence to build his presentation with tremendous impact. Watch out for that video.